Alright, I went in my toolbox and dug around, so I've got some pliers. And so we've got the end of the little screen filter. I got it pulled out here, but I haven't pulled it out all the way. Let's take a look at it when we pull it out the rest of the way here. Oh man, look at that. That's the labret tar pits. Holy smokes, that's crazy. No wonder I wasn't getting any gas flowing through this thing. That's just horrible. Okay, well anyway. Okay, so we got the Beetle, got the Zuki out of the way, got the gas tank over here. Get the front end out, gonna turn it around, and see if we can't get to work a little bit on that gas tank. Alright, got the car turned around, got the hood opened up. There's all our pieces we got to get stuck back in there. But there were some leaves and stuff in there. I got that kind of dusted out, but there is a bit of corrosion. Not bad though. Anyway, got the tank over here. And I get the feeling like I've got spots like that. Along the crease, along the edge over here. I'm going to do some cleaning up on this thing. Probably paint it. We'll see. Alright, I was sanding away on this thing and back up underneath there, and I just decided that I needed more power, so I got the Dremel out. So I'm going to use the Dremel to clean up some of the rough spots. We're not going to film that, it's kind of boring. Got kind of hot out here, decided to kind of just defer this project, and it's also given me a bit of time to evaluate how good a job these guys have done with reconditioning the tank, and I just wanted to say that upon further inspection, you can see it down in there, it's kind of rough down in there, and it's pretty rough in there. So internally it doesn't look like the guys who reconditioned the tank ever did any kind of an acid wash on it, despite the fact that they told me they would do it. And there was no indication on the outside of the tank that the thing had ever been properly cleaned. So, you know, maybe they did a mechanical cleaning on it, you know, like everybody typically says, you know, throw a couple of rocks or some bolts or something like that, or a link of chain, just kind of rattle it around until it's sort of clean. So maybe they did a little bit of that, but it doesn't look like they did a whole heck of a lot of cleaning. So in addition to the multiple holes like that one that they punched into the tank, you know, I'm going to say that you know, my evaluation for $190, I should have done this myself. You know, as is typical, if you've watched some of my other videos, I bitch about the contractors, and contractors, they just suck. They take shortcuts, they don't do the job they're supposed to, and then they stick their hand out for money. So, you know, I paid $190 for guys to slosh around some red coat in a tank that didn't really get cleaned up. Anyway, I'll back up underneath here. There's a tiny bit of rust. I've been sanding that down a tiny bit, and I'm not going to do a fantastic job of straightening that out, so I got myself a little Rust-Oleum. And yeah, it's not a color match or anything like that, but hey, at least it's blue, right? So, and it's hidden under the tank, but it's better than leaving the exposed metal to rust even more than it does, even faster than it will. So anyway, I got to do a little bit of work on the tank. I'm going to sand the tank down, throw a little bit of that black on it as well. And then we got to get it bolted on in there. Got my seal, which is nothing fancy. I don't think it needs to be all that fancy. I got all my bolts and stuff right there. And it should be pretty straightforward. I'll get back to it in a little bit. Alright, been doing a little bit of sanding on this guy. Just making sure it's good and clean. A little bit of rust right in there. Here's the other penetration. Took a little bit of grinding and sanding on that to get access to the rust and whatnot. But you know, of the holes they put in here, I figure this is the only one they could justify. I have no idea why they put the other one in. A little sealant there. Got a little sanded that end down a little bit. Right, and I've been doing a little sanding on this side, and working that over, getting a high spots, low spots. Straightened out. That is just a mess. I have no idea why they did that. Anyway. Get the dust off of it, put some paint on there. And there we go. I got it all set up. Cleaned up, wiped down, dusted. Let's get some paint on there. Okay, that gets this side of it. Not too bad a job. I was blasting the top of it. Got a little bit aggressive right there. Gotta flip it around, get the other side. Oh well, I was getting this thing ready for getting the tank back in here. And I knew there was a little bit of rust. I didn't realize how bad it was. It's kind of hard to see. But I've cleaned all that stuff up. And this, way back under there, the rust was a lot worse than I thought it was. I've done a pretty decent job of cleaning it up. But I had to pull out some of the seam sealer. It's like the rust had gone down under the seam sealer. And whatnot. What does it look like? It's hard to tell. I'm going to throw in some of that paint and get some color on it. And get the tank back in here. Still got to get another coat of paint on the tank. I've got like the primer on it, but got to get the rest of it. And there it is, part one. A little bit of black. What have I got? What did I do? That's what I did right there. Nothing fancy. Got a little bit of that on there. Ran it back up in here. It's not real pretty, but doesn't matter. It's under the gas tank. And it's better than it was. And it's dried overnight. It's ready for paint. So, let's continue. Okay, we gotta let that dry. Take a look at this guy. So it's not beautiful, but it's definitely better than it was. Now I gotta work this. Got the primer on there. Throw a coating of top black on it. There we go. Got some paint in there. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, lighting's not bad today. Okay, the other side is shiny black, and I flipped it over, and it's later in the afternoon, and now I'm going to blast this side with a little shiny black. Okay, one coat of shiny stuff. Okay, we've got the second coat on both sides, top and bottom. It's got to dry overnight, but I'm about ready to put that back in. I don't see too much more that I need to do with that. Alright, additional issues to add. Alright, this is where the gasoline comes out, that little hole right there. Now I should be able to run this down there. Now it's not going to be super easy. But before I drop this off of those guys, I could funnel this all the way down. It would go through and come out the other end right down in there. I get to about this point right now and I'm busted. Which means I think that these guys managed to get a plug of red coat somehow or another down in that tube right there. Okay, I just wanted to show you what I was going to use for cleaning it up. This is a hunk of stainless steel cable that's about the same diameter as the hole. It's a little bit smaller. I mean, it needs to be a little bit smaller. But you cut it, gets rough at the end, attach it to your drill bit, shove it down in a hole, and then just start turning it until all the crud comes out, and eventually you're able to get it to slide through from end to end. And this is what I did originally, and I know that it was flowing. I know that there was no plug in there. It may have still had some rust, but it did work, and now it doesn't. Okay, I realize this is going to be kind of hard to see, but alright, there's the drill bit, there's the top end of the tube, and there's the bottom end of the tube, and you can see that I have broken through. Okay, this is how it was when I dropped this thing off. I shouldn't have had to have done what I did right now, but these guys somehow or another managed to plug that hole up. But anyway, it didn't take too long. Probably took me no more than about 10 minutes. I put a little WD-40 in there just to smooth things out. And it seemed to work. Okay, so of course you've got to put the plugs back in. You got to put your little filter screen back on. So that's this filter screen. That sat for a fairly decent amount of time in a little bucket of lacquer thinner, but it cleaned up pretty well. Still works, no holes. That's the gasket. Goes around the plug. It's good shape. I'm going to have to reuse it because I don't have another one. And this is the plug at the bottom of the tank. And you can see quite a bit of corrosion around the bottom threads there. But it looks to me like there's enough left to make it work. Whoa, too close. Yeah, that's a little better. Alrighty, and there's the tank. It's all sealed up. Got my filter underneath that right there. That's screwed in. I'm painted. Hopefully there's no leaks. The guy should have tested it. You know, I mean, that's... Bottom line is I won't really know if the contractors have screwed up anything else until I actually get some fuel in the tank. But I don't think that they did. It's, I think that's something that they're probably competent at checking and making sure of. Ow, that's actually kind of sharp. There we go, the other side of the tank, the visible side. And there's the patch, all cleaned up and painted. Sure wish I knew where they did that. But I think this is a good breaking point between getting the tank cleaned up and actually putting it back in the car. So that'll do it for the tank part. And let's see how this goes. Alright, we got component reassembly and cleanup. That looks pretty nice. You should have seen that before I got started. But I think I'm happy with that. This is the filler neck to the let's see if we can like get some light down in there. I can show you how rusty that is. Where? Give me some light, give me some light. That's not bad. Look at that. That's got to be cleaned up. How about this end? Look at that mess. I guess we should probably do it like this. Look at the mess. Oh my god, that's bad. Yeah, let's put some of this stuff down. Put the gas cap over there. See if we can get a look down in there. That's a heck of a lot better than it used to be. The sun's kind of going away, so I can't really tell too much. But, I get a better look at the light. No, where's a good spot for the light, you know? But anyway, the right Dremel tool and a metal rod. Some of it I couldn't get to at the Dremel, but a metal rod, just shoving it down in there and beating the crap out of it. I was able to knock a bunch of that crud out. Of course, there was so much rust on it that I couldn't even get it to fit in that hole. It just drops right in there. Alright, I've got the my little edge seal on right there. Homemade, nothing fancy. I don't know what I spent on it, but it wasn't very much. Well, it wasn't too bad. That's not the easiest thing. It doesn't just totally drop in there. You got to kind of push on it and beat on it a little bit. But I've got to get, I got to pull it back out again so that I can get a couple of odds and ends like the fuel sender back in there. So anyway, upon further inspection, I've decided that the gasket that holds this thing on is just too shot to deal with. So I'm going to order one of those along with a replacement kit for the neck. So they make a kit. I can get a kit, and I'm going to order it from Mid-America Motor Works. And with the kit, I'm also going to get one of those, and that's going to be about 60 bucks. And that should get me taken care of there. But like I say, tank's in, but I can't do anything with it right now. Got to get some more parts. Alright, I've been beating on all the rust spots here. Nothing's been real bad, but a little bit here and there. Try and get this thing ready for some paint. Alrighty, next part of the process, the sending unit. And as far as I know, this is the original 1973 sending unit, and it was working when I stopped driving the car. Alright, I was spending a little bit of time cleaning it, and I started taking a really close look at the coils in there that have to work in order for this thing to work, and I realized that there is a split in the coil, so it's not going to work, so continuing to clean it's going to be pointless. Oh well, more stuff to buy. Alright, we got some replacement parts in. Mid-America Motor Works. Let's see if this stuff is any good. Never ordered from these guys before. Give them a shot, see what's up. Okay, that's the seal that goes across there. It's actually a little bit too big, but I can cut it down. I think it's the size so you can cut it in half. I don't know what else we got in here. Okay, we have 1, 2. Okay, those go around that other piece. Another one of those. Another one of those. Which is too many. They should have only sent one of those. There's supposed to be 2 of these. There's 1. Get back to that. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. That means they sent me the standard beetle one, not the super beetle one. Oh, so there was a mistake made. Typical, they always make a mistake. Alright, there's 1 fuel tank sending gauge gasket, which is correct, it's the right quantity. And then there's 1 neck gasket, filler neck to body gasket. It's supposed to be one of those, and there is. This is one of the Mexican fuel gauges, or at least it's supposed to be a Mexican fuel gauge. What do we got going here? Okay. And what do we have? Okay, we have a Mexican fuel gauge that was not supposed to come with a gasket, and it did come with a gasket. So I've got an extra gasket. I got lots of extra gaskets in this kit. Oh wow, it's kind of the way it goes. Alright, here we are back out of the car again, and I've got the paint on the filler neck. Looks pretty good. Got to yank the tank out so I can put the gauge in. Back over here to the gauge. I've taken my gauge and replaced the floats with my ancient floats because they were still in good shape. I figured, hey, why not? They'll work just as good. So anyway, this has got to go in there. Okay, I want to try and do a little preliminary adjustment of the fuel sending unit. We need to test whether or not it's actually working first. I've got it rigged so that it should go up toward the full mark. Alright, not quite full. Let's do some adjusting. Okay, after a slight mechanical adjustment, let's see what we get here. Not quite. We've got to do a little bit more. Okay, let's do it again. Oh, that's close. All right, let's give it one more turn here. See what we got. Okay, maybe it reads a little overfull, but it's okay. Okay, let's see what the as-delivered low-end range is here. Okay, I think that's a little bit too low. I'm going to have to lift that up a little bit. Okay, let's see what that bottom adjustment is now. Nah, I still got to lift it up. Okay, let's hope this is where we need to be. One more time. No, it still needs to go up further. Oh, man. Pain. Alright, hopefully this works. I think this is going to be it. I think we're going to be slightly above and slightly below on the top and bottom. Moves up and just below the bottom of the reserve, all the way at the bottom. Looks good. Okay, let me make sure I didn't foul anything up when I was doing that bottom end stuff. Let's make sure the top end's still working well. Awesome, just above to just below. Hopefully this works. I haven't tried this yet. Okay, I think that's in position. Okay, what are we looking at? Is it straight up and down? No, it needs to go a little bit more. It's tight. What is it tight? Alright, let's see what that looks like. Now, a little tiny bit more. Alright. Alright, it may actually be a little over rotated, but it's in there, the gasket's in there. Good and solid. I haven't abused the tank. It doesn't have any chips in the paint, so I didn't beat it up too much getting it over. in and out and over here, whatnot. Alright, so I banged this guy in. Got our clamps on. We focused? Yeah, we're focused. Okay, I got the clamps on. Got this guy on. Got that guy in the back on over there. Can we see it? Yeah, we can see it. There it is. Got this guy back on there. Got all the hoses routed around. Got that little guy up there. Got those two over there. Got my bolts. This guy's screwed in. Got this one in. This guy, the two over there. Let's go take a look. There, that one down there. That one there. 13 millimeters bolted in pretty good. It's all dusty. I'm sweating on it because it's friggin' hot today. Get all the dust off here. And the pipe, boy, that was hard to do. Still not sure I've got it in there right. But come over here. You look where the gas cap sits. It's like, yay, it opens up. The gasket sits pretty far out. And when you put this in, you tighten it up. Okay, there we go, get it popped. It just barely closes. I mean, there's right there, there's just barely enough clearance for that to close. But it's solidly in there. I mean, it doesn't shake. It is totally solid. Alright, I think the front end of this thing is all set. I got one other thing I wanted to do just before I go ahead and bolt on all the fuel lines. Screw them on, whatever you want to do it. But I've got my snake right here, so I'm going to run and show you guys that from the back here to the front over there. That I have no holes, or not no holes, that I have a solid non-stop hole from the front to the back. It's a little bit dark under here, but let's see here. Right there is the end of the fuel line coming front to back. So we're going to get the snake out. We'll pass the snake up the line like this. Now it's not going to go all the way. When you get up to the front, there's a bend, just like there's a bend in the back. It's not too hard to pass it from front to back when you're here. There we go, a little snag. Come on. Okay, we got about this much left. I'm pretty sure I'm at the bend at the front, and I'm not going to be able to do better than that. But this thing's like 8 feet long, so I know I'm only a few inches from the end of the tube at the other end, and there's nothing. Alright, let's go up to the front. I'll show you guys that we can go from front to back. And the end of the tube is right there. Now let's pick an end of this thing to work with, which is a good end. Oh, I don't know if that's the one we want. See here. Yeah, I think this is the end that we want. Okay, let's get this in. Try to anyway. And that's it, right there. So again, you can see about, that much hanging out. I lost my focus. There we go. So with that much hanging out, you can tell we're more than halfway through. So the line is clear. I got my fuel hose here that's got to come from a tank up there. I'm going to attach it down there. I've got a couple of clamps. And then we got to do the back. Oh, jeez, I lost my focus again. That'll come out, and we do the front. Alright, I just thought I'd show you this. This is my original 1973 fuel line. Never replaced. And I haven't taken anything off of it. It's missing, you know, it's got these one-time use clamps on this end. Probably was one on this end. It's gone. But this was up by the tank. This one's down by the body. And as you can clearly see, there's no fuel filter. I did not run a fuel filter. I've got one of my other videos where I tell you guys, hey, I've got 3 fuel filters built into my carburetors and my fuel pump. And up here at the tank, of course, the tank has got a screen so the dirt doesn't get down into the line. That doesn't stop stuff from getting into your tank, but the screen keeps it in the tank and keeps it from getting down the line. So I mean, Volkswagen felt like this was good enough, and I'm not going to go against them. My other reason for doing this is that when you cut your fuel lines, it just creates additional points of failure. Alright, here we are at the back of the car, the motor. Alright, as you can see right here, my fuel line. Got to get that down in there. Now right now I've got this enormous pile of fuel line sticking out. I've got to get this chopped down. You know, I've been running off my gas can. There's my gas can over there. So I needed a long line, but we are past that. We're ready to go off the fuel tank. So I got to cut this down and get everything in here tight so it doesn't rattle. Right now all I hear is a bunch of clanking. But we'll get that straightened out. Getting close. Alright, we got it cleaned up under here a little bit. Put this guy back in place. It's not attached or anything, but hey, it's at least in there. It's all our hoses. We got this guy in place. Back up. Of course, that hunk of rubber was still in there from decades ago. But let's pop that open, put some gas in here. Alright, let's go put this back in the car. Okay, here it goes. I'm going to put about a gallon in there. Let's see what happens. Okay, kind of based on the feel of the gas tank, I think that's about a gallon, maybe a little bit more. I think we'll stop here. Okay, well, we haven't blown up or caught on fire yet. That's something. We're in neutral. Let's do some cranking. I'm probably going to have to hook up the battery charger. I've been listening to the radio and stuff. So... maybe we can help a little bit. I got some starter fluid. Starting fluid, alright, we got the starting fluid. Oh, of course, we got the dual carbs. Let's do the other side. Smelly. There we go. Alrighty. Let's hit it again. Most likely that's just the starter fluid and not the gasoline just yet. Up on the gas tank. Alright. Milestone up on the gas tank. Get it out of the driveway here. Get it out of the garage a little bit anyway. Crazy. Man, it hadn't run in months.